And we're live.
I'm from the T.O. Rep it everywhere I go. Million people at your door. This is where we calling home. You goofy ass mother. I'm not even gonna get into that. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in until the point with
Skip.
and the king. You guys know what to do. Go down there, click subscribe, click like, leave a comment. We love you guys out there. Skip, there's a bunch of people out there that be hating. I saw the comments y'all been saying about me. I feel you. Saw you feel that way that I annoy you. But thank you.
I don't know if people come on this channel to watch you sing. I'll say that much.
Well, thank you for watching. So let's get right into this. Today it's only myself and the skipper. Us to the point. Get it? T.O. Anyway, Skip, I saw something out there the other day from an American reporter who said some negativity towards our city of Toronto. Okay, did you see that as well, my friend?
Chris Broussard, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
His name is not worthy to be mentioned. But, yo, I'm Skip, I'm amped, man. I actually lost sleep about this, thinking about like what he said about our city, our great city of Toronto, Ontario, up here. Okay. Now, I am upset with what he said when it came racially. Him as a black man, okay, saying that a black athlete cannot survive in Toronto, in our great city of Toronto. Are you serious? You heard him say that, right, my dude?
He did not say survive, but he said that it's different for African Americans in Toronto and that they don't like being here.
Okay, bullshit. Okay, his argument, and I'm gonna get at you. I would love to tag you on Twitter right now, Chris, and let you know. Okay, you said Tracy McGrady, he went home back to Orlando and got a bigger paycheck. Okay, you talked about Vince Carter. Vince had a rift within the organization. You talked about Chris Bosh leaving. No, that was a LeBron thing. You talked about Kawhi Leonard leaving. No, he wanted to go home as well. He just wanted to come here and get a championship. That's it. Your argument and what you have to say is invalid, and I'm disgusted about what you have to say about my city. Because let's look at the geographic. Okay? You want to talk science, dude? You're talking out your ass. Let's talk science. Cleveland is technically more north than the city of Toronto. Technically. Okay? You want to talk, and that's where you're from. You want to talk about that? You don't think you're talking about KD coming to Toronto and it's cold over there in Toronto. It ain't that cold. It's the same temperature as New York. What are you talking about? Okay? I got an issue with that, with what you had to say. Do not. And you said I love to visit Toronto. Let me tell you something. After what you said, I guarantee you there's going to be a bunch of guys at the airport waiting for you when you land to come and visit. All right, based on what you said, because us here in the dot, we do not like that. Okay, we have so many people that came from the city of Toronto that are famous, that are all out there, even the ass adore. Okay, you know, most of the comedians, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey, that's all from here. Okay, so who the hell are you to talk about us in that way? That's what I want to say, Skip. That's why I'm ranting, and that's why we're making this video today. Skip, do you have anything to say?
Well, I thought it was weird that you brought up Jim Carrey right there, because he's like the whitest. Well, I guess he's not that white. He was on In Living Color.
He was on In Living Color.
Yeah. But Okay,
Fire
first of
Marshal
all,
Bill.
I want to say it's not really my place to comment on this subject in general. We did try to reach out to a couple people for this episode, but we weren't able to get them on. We were on a bit of a tight schedule. So I just want to say, first of all, we might have a new candidate for worst sports commentator in the States, taking over from Skip Bayless. I mean, Skip Bayless is the worst, but Chris Broussard might be climbing up those rankings. No, Nick Wright's okay. He's not amazing, but he's okay.
Jackass.
Skip Bayless is just a straight up hater, and Chris Broussard is like, he's getting there. The funniest thing about these comments is he says he's talked to people in the Raptors organization pre-Masai Ujiri. So right there, we're going off information that's at least 8 years old, right? At least. Because Masai came in, what, 2014? Was it maybe 2013? I can't remember.
I think it was 2014 or 2015.
I think it was 2014, yeah. So, So, first of all, he's talking out of his ass because he obviously doesn't know anything about the current Raptors organization, if that's the information he's going off of. Obviously, we all know that Toronto is one of the most diverse cities in the world. Very multicultural. Very black,
we are the
brown,
most
white, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I don't think there's any real argument that if that was his point, I don't really know what he was getting at. Now, if you listen carefully to his comments, though, I will give him this. He said it's different than America, which, I mean, I'll be honest, he's not wrong. It is different than America, and as someone who lives here in the city, downtown. That's something I'm proud of. I don't want Toronto to be more like America. And
exactly.
Sure, you feel it when you're out in the streets because it's safer. There's less violence. There's less all of this stuff. So I mean, it's cleaner. So I mean, if that's the kind of stuff he's getting at, I kind of get where he's coming from. But it's like, why is any of that a bad thing? Like, unless he's really, really saying that, I don't know, like black athletes want the hood mentality or whatever you want to call it, something like that. Like, maybe that's what he's sort of nodding to. I mean, again, not really my place to get into all this stuff. But I think the fact that we're different from America is a point of pride, and it absolutely is completely different than America in a lot of ways. But it's still a great city to live. I don't think that athletes don't come here because specifically it's not America. Maybe they're afraid to come here. Maybe they're like, it just feels foreign to them when they're making their decision because they're all NBA headquarters and usually their livelihoods are centered in the States. So they kind of have to rethink going to a different country. But once they get here, they always want to stay. It's never been an issue with re-signing guys, really. It's more attracting that big name free agent who just came off from another team. And then, I mean, the biggest consideration is the weather. And basketball season does happen in winter. We do have bad weather, but like you said, New York has bad weather. Detroit has bad weather. A lot of cities in the Northeast have bad weather. So that's not really a real good argument. But what he's talking about is mentally how these players think. And he might have a point if he wasn't going off 8-year-old information. Anyway, I'll let you take it away from there.
Okay, Skip. Back in 2003, I was dating a girl, and her brother was the mortgage broker for Antonio Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife did not like the color of our money here. That was her main issue. She did not like the color. So that's why they shipped up and went out. I know that for a fact. But then again, with what that guy said, I'm not going to say his name again because I don't want that to come out off the top of my tongue. I love positive energy. But what he said, basically, I believe that was like, we've spoken about this before. We've had Robert on. And the American media narrative against the Toronto Raptors, right? Saying, oh, nobody should go there. Forget all that. They shouldn't do that. But you know what? When he's talking about black athletes being successful in Toronto, can I just say one thing? Look.
Yeah. Joe Carter.
1992 World Series. Joe Carter.
That was 93.
It out the park.
That was 93.
Okay, 93. Yeah,
92,
right at the end against the Philadelphia Phillies. Yes.
92, he
And
was still standing on first, but he was on the field. Anyway, go on.
And then not to mention that 2019 Raptors roster that won the championship, that brought it here north of the border. How many of them were black? Right? How did they not strive? Right? Look
pretty
at
much
right
everyone
now,
not named Marc Gasol, I think.
Pretty much. Look at everybody right now, currently on your Toronto Raptors roster. Let's see. Svi, evidently so. You have Ron Harper, half Filipino. You got Malachi Flynn, right? Half white.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They're all black. And they're all international. We are multicultural. We are more multicultural than the Dallas Mavericks organization right now. So I see what he said to me was pretty much bullshit. Okay? Like, seriously, Skip. I'm sorry. I fished you out the pond today to do this one, but to me it's absolutely bullshit, because I need to get that out there and to let you Raptors fans know exactly what it is that this guy was talking about. The Raptors do have a chance to land Kevin Durant. And if you don't believe me, go look at our last video. Right?
Yeah. I just want to add one thing. So I think here's the thing. The American propaganda machine is so powerful and so strong, and we're kind of in that bubble too. Even in Canada, we feed off that bubble too, because it's there's such this narrative out there, and I've been drawn into it. I've been attracted to it, where America is like the best place in the world. America's this, America's that. All the movies are set in America. You see, like you were saying with the money, like when you go to the strip clubs, like American dollar bills flying all over the place. It's like a mentality that America.
Can't really get a lap dance in the States, though. But
well, that's a topic. But the American narrative is just kind of, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But this idea that America is where all good things happen, and most of these guys, they grow up in the States and they're inside this propaganda machine. And they're around, like basketball, obviously, like I said, basketball is headquartered in the States. All the narrative is around being in the States. The Los Angeles Lakers, the mythology, the New York Knicks, I don't want to call it mythology, but the fame, the Celtics mythology more so. Anyway, so that propaganda machine is really powerful. We're seeing it all over the world, not just in basketball, not just in sports. And as that myth, it takes a player to reach a certain point in their career to kind of see past that myth and really focus in on the basketball side of things. And obviously the Raptors have to be a really good team too, which they are, and a really good organization too, which they are. So there's no reason logically that KD should think the way that Chris Broussard is describing it, the way that maybe 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, and Alonzo Mourning might think that, right? Because back then,
he didn't even cross the border.
Yeah, so back then the Raptors were a joke. So that was the key there. It's like, these are all excuses. Even Chris Bosh, when he left, these are all excuses. But you're still leaving a bad team.
He said the city smelled weird and he didn't like the cable.
But at the end of the day, it was a basketball move too, because those Raptors were not going anywhere. These Raptors are going places. And I think
he wanted to go put on high heels and wear a purse for LeBron. But let's not get into it.
Yeah. These Raptors might be going somewhere. They are going somewhere, I would say. And if they bring in a guy like KD, like they could go all the way again, just like we saw 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't think that should be a huge factor in KD's decision. But behind closed doors, we can't get into Kevin Durant's head. And unless he's willing to go out and post on the media, if a trade does go down, if he's able to come out in a press conference and say, like, I want to be here, I believe in this team, then we don't know what he really feels. But logically speaking, there's no reason that people should be thinking the way Chris Broussard is describing at this point in time. And if they are, it's completely because of the American myth-making machine. And there's not much you can do to conquer that, because that's a problem in the world today. So, yeah.
that got Mr. Orange elected into office, but we ain't gonna get into that.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, Skip. So the last thing I gotta say, man, is like, you know what? Toronto's gonna go far with or without KD. And a lot of American media reporters, that's why we're here, because we're representing our city, right? That's why we started this, because we were tired of that bullshit that they said. Like certain reporters saying they don't want to come across the border up here because of customs. Shut up, okay? Like seriously, you got to bring your TNT set or whatever set up here. It's bullshit, because we got to go down there.
That stuff's self-perpetuating, right? If players always hear that other players don't want to go to Toronto, then it's a cycle. And it's like, I heard that he didn't want to go, so now why would I go?
Yeah.
The Raptors have changed that, I think. Yeah.
It adds to your point about the propaganda. But the Raptors are changing the culture. They're changing I've said this multiple times over the last couple episodes. The Raptors are revolutionizing the way the game of basketball is going to be played. Put that on record, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I said it. It's going to happen. You're going to watch. And you know what? I think, honestly, Skip, can we just say this real quick? We didn't get to talk about this last time, but if I was KD, kind of wouldn't mind coming this side of the border, man, to deal with these kids, finally get a chip on your own without Steph Curry, without being in Steph Curry's shadow. You know what I mean?
If he wants to win, this is the place to be. I think absolutely. I mean, Phoenix as well. But...
There we go. But Skip, do you have any last things that you would like to say? Because, like, honestly, I'm disgusted, appalled, and I lost sleep. I actually punched the wall because of what that reporter said. Because to me, it was absolutely disgusting. You don't know our city. You don't know how multicultural we are. You don't know anything about us. You just like to visit, okay? And to me, that sounded kind of like I don't know, something Agent Orange's friend would say, which is pretty out there. Yeah, you heard me. But Skip, do you have anything to say towards what that, I'm gonna say it, that jackass said?
Well, just that Chris Broussard's kind of an idiot. Like, and I'm not even dissing him. I'm just saying, like, when has he ever had any inside intel? When has he ever had any real insight into the NBA? I mean, he's a talking head on a network, not a former player, not someone who's super connected. He just kind of sits there and he spouts off his opinions. So that's cool. It's not like Brian Windhorst or even Zach Lowe. Like, these guys aren't saying this crap. It's Chris Broussard on FS1. So whatever, who cares? At the end of the day.
Forget anything that comes out on that station.
Yeah.
So Skip, good conversation, man. I know you got some stuff to do. I'm gonna go try to reel out on this one and just try to get over it, because it's a pain in the ass. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, for once, I did give your ambassador some credit today. Okay? I did.
We're gonna need him if we're gonna get KD. We're gonna need Drake anyway.
Well, he actually said that at a concert a couple of years ago, and he got fined for it.
Yeah.
Well, the Raps got fined $25,000 for it, and that was here in Ontario. But anyway, so Skip, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
I had to air that out because you and I, you being a white male and me being a brown male, who is of Indian descent and is Muslim. You and I, we have spoken about race a lot, and you and I have conjoined and formed together like Voltron, and you and I do not like that. So this is why I did not appreciate what this man had to say about our multicultural city of Toronto, right? And if you guys don't believe me, go look at my family, my immediate family. African, Jamaican, Guyanese, Mexican, Nufi, Filipino, Indian, Trinidadian. Go look it all up. We have all that in my family. So I am not one for racism, and I did not appreciate how he said that, because to me, that sounded kind of racist, and I did not enjoy one word that dude had to say. I wanted to say something else there, but that dude had to say. Okay? So, Skip, anything to let us out?
No, just still waiting on some KD news. We'll definitely drop an episode if anything happens on that front. But not expecting anything to happen immediately. We'll see. I think they're in the conversation, but I think they're just going to be sitting there in the weeds, waiting for things to shake down.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Dude. Can we just rep our city right now?
There we go.
There we go, because it's Jay season. Talk about black athletes in Toronto. Look at Vladimir Guerrero. Shut up. Okay. Anyway, on behalf of myself, the one and only SimonBroder.com, you can go find the book. This is the limited edition. If y'all want to pay some extra money, I might be able to hook you up, but he has a recent one with a new cover, and he's at Dougie J's on Twitter, and you could tweet him as much as you want, because it is baseball season, and yeah, get at him. Have fun with that. You guys know where to find me, at King Hussein on everything. I see you guys out there talking, saying I'm annoying, saying I'm all this stuff. I see you guys. Thank you for watching, though. All right? So on behalf of myself, the one and only Simon Broder, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
peace.